You can rely on alumni. It is with great anticipation that Jinger Duggar anticipates the publication of her most recent book, which is titled People Pleaser: Breaking Free from the Burden of Imaginary Expectations. As part of her efforts to promote her forthcoming biography, the mother, who is 31 years old, has been taking part in interviews. The world was taken aback when Jinger, in her earlier title, Becoming Free Indeed, discussed the problematic teachings of the International Bilingual Learning Program, IBLP. On the other hand, it appears that her earlier book was also met with opposition by those who were close to her. If you continue reading, you will see her words about some loved ones who are very unkind. Regarding the forthcoming book written by Jinger Duggar, what can we anticipate from it? According to the synopsis of the book, People Pleaser: Breaking Free from the Burden of Imaginary Expectations will focus on Jinger's life from childhood to adulthood, during which she will attempt to live up to the expectations of other people. It took her some time before she finally asked herself who she really was, which led her to the realization that she strived to please other people. As a result of this, the former cast member of Counting On made the decision to liberate themselves from the need for approval and find true independence. There are also rumors that the title will include additional surprising information about her family and the people who are in her immediate vicinity. Jinger reveals that her loved ones are very unkind. Just recently, Jinger participated in an interview in which she discussed the criticism she received following the release of her song, Becoming Free Indeed. In spite of the fact that she would be subjected to a great deal of criticism, the former member of Counting On stated that her primary objective was to love and serve the people who had been harmed by the teachings of the IBLP. She continued by saying, "I'm going to just put all of that aside and say, no, I want to do what I feel called to do, and that is to speak the truth." Nevertheless, Jinger Duggar disclosed that not all of the people she knew thought highly of what she had accomplished. The fact that some of her loved ones would say very unkind things about her book was something that she admitted. She continued, "However, when all was said and done, I came to the conclusion that it was the prudent choice. Sharing the truth with these individuals was the best thing that I could have done since it showed that I love them." Counting On: How are Jinger Duggar and her family doing in the midst of the wildfires in California? One of the most upsetting pieces of content that Jinger Duggar has been releasing is related to the recent wildfire in California. The former cast member of Counting On resides in Santa Clarita with her husband and children, which is located just a few hours away from the destructive wildfire. Additionally, their circumstance is quite precarious because Jinger is currently expecting her third child. Nevertheless, Jinger recently took to social media to announce that she is doing well, despite the horrible experiences that they had experienced. To add insult to injury, she even released a video of herself bowling with Jeremy. If you are looking for additional information regarding the Duggar family, you should return to Bombshell 25 for all of your updates. Jinger Duggar, best known for her appearance on the reality TV show 19 Kids and Counting, has always been a public figure, raised in a conservative Christian family under the spotlight. Her book, Becoming Free Indeed: My Story of Disentangling Faith from Fear, has been the subject of much attention, not just for its candid recounting of her personal journey, but also for the family dynamics it touches upon. Jinger's revelations about her journey to self-discovery and spiritual freedom have been met with both praise and criticism, including some from her own family. In interviews and media discussions about the book, Jinger has opened up about the internal struggles and external pressure she faced, especially from some family members, who she described as not being nice about her decision to write the book and share her story. This statement has caused a ripple effect within the Duggar family, leading to discussions about what it means to be part of such a close-knit and publicly scrutinized family, as well as the implications of breaking away from long-held religious and familial traditions. The background: Jinger Duggar and her family. Jinger Duggar was born into a family that was not just large but also deeply embedded in the world of conservative Christianity. The Duggars, led by parents Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar, became household names due to their reality TV series 19 Kids and Counting, which chronicled their life raising a large family with strict values. Their teachings were rooted in a very specific interpretation of the Bible, one that placed heavy emphasis on traditional gender roles, modesty, and homeschooling. For years, the Duggars were seen as the epitome of the Christian homeschooling movement, with their large family and rigid religious lifestyle garnering both admiration and criticism. As the children grew older, some, like Jinger, began to question the expectations placed on them and sought to carve out their own paths. Jinger's journey, however, was more complex due to her public persona and the scrutiny she received from both the media and her family. In her book, Jinger discusses her process of deconstructing some of the beliefs and practices she was raised with, including the patriarchal structure that dominated her upbringing. This transformation has been liberating for her but also created tension with certain family members who, according to her, were not supportive of her journey. The book, A Journey of Faith and Freedom, Becoming Free Indeed, is a deeply personal memoir that chronicles Jinger Duggar's journey from the strict and rigid religious upbringing she experienced within the Duggar family to her exploration of a more inclusive, grace-centered faith. The book delves into the way her upbringing shaped her worldview and her relationship with God, and how her evolving beliefs have led her to question much of what she had been taught. Jinger is very open about how she struggled with fear and shame growing up, and how these emotions were tied to the teachings she received, which emphasized strict moral codes and a fear-based approach to faith. Throughout the book, she reflects on the spiritual and emotional toll these teachings took on her, and how she has worked to unlearn much of it to embrace a more compassionate and loving understanding of faith. The book is not just a story of religious deconstruction, it's also an exploration of personal growth and self-empowerment. Jinger writes about how she slowly became more independent from her parent influence and the pressures of the Duggar family, especially when it came to marriage, children, and her role as a woman in society. It is, in many ways, an act of rebellion, not against God, but against the rigid and sometimes oppressive structures that her family upheld. Family reactions, a divisive topic. One of the most notable aspects of Jinger's book and her journey is the reaction she has received from her family. While some members of the Duggar family have been supportive, others have been less than kind. In interviews, Jinger has stated that some family members were not nice when it came to her decision to write the book and share her story publicly. These comments highlight the tension that exists within the family when it comes to religious and personal beliefs. For the Duggar family, faith is not just a personal matter but a central part of their identity. The family has always been known for its strict adherence to their interpretation of Christianity, and any deviation from that belief system is seen as a threat to the family's unity and values. Jinger's decision to write about her own journey of questioning and transformation was likely seen as a challenge to the very foundation of the Duggar family's beliefs. While Jinger's siblings, particularly those who have also distanced themselves from the family's more rigid interpretations of religion, may understand her need for independence, others have been less supportive. Jinger has mentioned in interviews that certain family members felt her book was a betrayal and that they did not appreciate the way she portrayed their shared experiences. This is a common theme in many families, where one member's decision to diverge from the family's traditions or values can cause division, especially when it is done in such a public way. The tension between faith and family. The tension between Jinger and her family over her book highlights a larger issue that many people face when they try to reconcile their personal beliefs with the expectations of their family and community. For Jinger, the challenge was particularly acute because her entire identity had been shaped by her family's religious teachings. The Duggar family's faith is not just a private matter but a public one, and any deviation from that faith can be viewed as a rejection of the family as a whole. Jinger's journey is one of personal autonomy and spiritual freedom. She has spoken about how she felt constrained by the fear and shame associated with the teachings she grew up with and how she has sought to break free from that. This has involved not just questioning her religious beliefs, but also reevaluating her relationships with her family members, some of whom continue to hold fast to the beliefs that Jinger has left behind. For some members of the Duggar family, this journey may be difficult to understand, especially if they still view the teachings they shared as central to their identity and moral framework. To them, Jinger's decision to write about her experiences and share them publicly might feel like a betrayal, even if that wasn't her intention. This is an unfortunate but common outcome when people in tight-knit religious communities step outside the boundaries of those communities. The role of publicity and media. Jinger Duggar's decision to write a book and share her personal story in such a public way was always going to come with its challenges. The Duggar family, for better or worse, has been a fixture in the media for years, and any personal decision made by one of its members inevitably attracts attention. Jinger's book was bound to stir controversy, especially given the highly public nature of the Duggar family's beliefs and values. In interviews promoting her book, Jinger has emphasized that her intention was not to attack her family, but to share her personal journey and offer hope to others who may be struggling with similar issues. However, some family members likely viewed her public disclosure as an unnecessary airing of family grievances. The book's release has sparked conversations not only about religious deconstruction and spiritual freedom, but also about the pressures of living under the public eye, where personal struggles are often amplified and scrutinized. It is important to note that the Duggar family has always been very careful about maintaining their public image. For years, the family portrayed a picture-perfect life on television, with strict codes of behavior and a commitment to conservative Christian values. Any deviation from this image, particularly one that is made public, can be seen as a threat to the family's carefully constructed narrative. Jinger's book, by questioning many of the beliefs and practices that defined her upbringing, challenges that narrative and forces the family to confront uncomfortable truths about their own beliefs and practices. The personal toll that this family tension has had on Jinger cannot be overstated. While she has found peace and freedom in her journey, it has not come without its emotional cost. Writing a book about her experiences meant exposing herself to public scrutiny and facing criticism from some of the people she loves most. In interviews, Jinger has been candid about how painful it has been to deal with the fallout from her decision to share her story, especially when it comes to family members who are not supportive. Despite the challenges, Jinger has remained committed to her path and to the principles that she now holds dear. In her book, she emphasizes the importance of grace, love, and understanding, and these values have guided her as she navigates the difficult dynamics within her family. For Jinger, the journey has been one of healing, and while she acknowledges the pain that has come with it, she also speaks about the joy and peace that have followed her decision to embrace her own beliefs and live authentically. Moving forward. Healing and hope. Jinger's journey is still unfolding, and it remains to be seen how her relationship with her family will evolve in the coming years. While some family members have been critical of her book and her public statements, others have been more supportive, and there is hope that over time, understanding and healing will take place. In interviews, Jinger has expressed a desire for reconciliation and has made it clear that she does not want her story to cause further division within her family. Instead, she hopes that by sharing her truth, she can help others who may be struggling with similar issues. She has also emphasized that her journey is not about rejecting her family, but about finding her own path and living in alignment with her values and beliefs. For Jinger Duggar, Becoming Free Indeed is not just a book about faith, it is a statement of independence, self-discovery, and the courage to live authentically in the face of criticism. While some family members may have been not nice about her decision to share her story, Jinger's hope is that in time the family can move toward greater understanding and healing. Her story is one of growth, transformation, and the pursuit of personal freedom, a journey that will likely continue to inspire and resonate with many people who have faced similar challenges in their own lives.